All right, welcome and hello to your Santa Cruz 70.3 course preview video. This year in 2024, the race is on September 8th, 2024. That's a Sunday. If you're watching after 2024, the course has always been the same, almost always been the same the past 6 years. So the information is also very much applicable to future years, most likely. All right, so I'm going to talk about swim, bike, run. I'm going to talk about transition, a few other things. I've actually done this race 5 times. I'm going to do it again this year in 2024. So I'm stoked. That's why I'm making the video for you and for me. And if you're there, I'll see you there as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, we've seen these quick stats on the screen before, right? Ocean swim, check. Rolling bike, check. Flat run, absolutely. Also, air temperature 65 degrees. I'd say that's a fair assessment. Early in the morning, it could be as low as 55 degrees, and in the middle of the afternoon, 75 degrees. But if I had to say a single air temperature value, 65 Fahrenheit is correct. Water temperature says 63. I would actually say it's about 60 or 61, so prepare for maybe a little bit cooler than 63 degrees. Okay, what I have on the screen here is Google Earth, and what I've done is I've gone to Santa Cruz and then I sketched the swim, bike, and run course in yellow, blue, and red colors respectively. So what you're seeing here mostly is the blue bike course up the coast and back. We'll talk about each part of the race a little bit later. The run is outlined in red here and has a little bit of overlap with the bike course, as you can tell, and then the swim course out around the pier and back. What I also wanted to show was the transition area in magenta and the Ironman Village, which is in light blue, which is just beside Athlete Village, the transition area as shown here. This is called Depot Park. So if you check out the Ironman event schedule, everything happens in Depot Park pretty much, except for the swim start, which is at the main beach. This particular event schedule is the 2023 event schedule. At the time of this recording, I'm making this video a few months before the actual race, so I don't have the 2024 event schedule available to me at this moment. But I would assume that the 2024 event schedule is similar to what we're seeing here with athlete check-in on Friday or Saturday, athlete briefing, all taking place at Depot Park, and of course, Sunday is race day with the swim start at Main Beach. Okay, let's talk about the swim. The Ironman Santa Cruz 70.3 swim is a 1.2 mile swim. First of all, we got to get to the swim, right? So magenta is the color of transition, and we walk down to the ocean. I have sketched out a black line to get down to the ocean, the swim start, and you could either walk along Pacific Street or along the trail. This year in 2024, I'm not sure which direction the race organizers are going to want to have us walk, but this black line here shows us the paths that people have walked in the past to get out to the swim start. So bring your all your swim stuff with you, of course. And I like to bring a water bottle and a little snack with me just because I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to start or how thirsty I'm going to be. I like to stay hydrated. And there are trash cans down at the swim start, or of course, if you have spectators and friends and family to leave your personal items with you at at the swim start, you can do that as well. Okay, so we walk down to the swim start. I would say this is about 4/10 of a mile, almost half of a mile of a distance. Some people will wear flip-flops, some people will wear booties, or some people will have on an old pair of running shoes or just whatever shoes to protect their feet on the walk over and also on the run back into T1 after the swim. And where they leave those items, I don't know. Probably near the swim exit, which is going to be over in this area. I believe there are little small kiddie pools to wash your feet on, but I can't guarantee any of those things, and I've never really used them either. Regardless, I'm going to be using my swim booties because I'm always cold in the water. All right, so the swim course is this yellow outline here. It's out around the pier and back. Like I said, it's a 1.2 mile swim. There will be the red turn buoys at the two turn points. So we're going to go out, across, and back. There are sighting buoys as well. Ironman typically has yellow sighting buoys for the first half of the swim and orange sighting buoys on the second half of the swim. So just make sure to, keep the buoys on your right-hand side, and you'll be good there. Water temperature, I would say, is about 60 degrees. It is salty, of course. This is the ocean. There are no large waves like surfable waves. You're not going to see a 10-foot wave or a 12-foot super frog type of wave, but there will possibly be swells. There will also possibly be wind waves, which are just kind of the small little choppy waves, but not surfable wave, if that makes sense. The sun's going to be coming in from the east, of course, in the morning, and there will be sun if you're breathing left on the way out, and then a little bit of sun breathing right as you're finishing the swim. But for me, I'm probably going to breathe on the side that the waves are not smacking me. So if I want to open my mouth and get air in instead of water, that's the side that I turn my head to. Which direction that is on race day, I can't tell you in a video right now. That's just something I kind of figure out once, the first couple minutes of swimming. I've never finished this swim without a little bit of salt taste in my mouth. And I'll tell you right now, it's a little bit unnerving, but after a while, okay, I just accept I have salty taste in my mouth. And once I'm on the bike and get some electrolyte drink in, I'm good to go there. I usually start the swim slow. I like to focus on my breathing, and that's my suggestion to any swimmer, unless you're like a very strong swimmer, you do your thing. But for me, who's kind of a mid-pack swimmer, I'm a 150 to 2 minute range guy. That's my pace per 100. So I'm going to probably finish around 35 to 40 minutes, which leads me to also mention that the swim is a seated swim. So once you get to the swim start, there's the beach here. There will be a queue with everyone in their wetsuits and pink and green swim caps. Line up next to the sign that says your expected swim finish time. So I'll probably be around, yeah, the 35 to 38-minute sign and go with my group. There are probably going to be around 2,000 or so athletes in this race. There have been historically, which means if they're letting four athletes go every 5 seconds, you can do the math. It's probably going to take close to an hour to get all the athletes started. And that's for safety reasons, of course. But I say that because if you were a slower swimmer and you're lined up towards the back, I would continue to hydrate and just know that you're not going to be going right when the fastest swimmers go. Again, it's salt water. It's buoyant water, which I've always had my fastest swims at Santa Cruz, so I'm excited for that. Despite a longer T1 run, I'll get to in just a moment. Okay, there's also a high percentage of finishers from EnduranceData.com. I noticed that the finisher rate is about 95%. So if you have any apprehension about the ocean swim, I would say, of course, practice swimming in the ocean, practice swimming in cold, rougher environments. This, I don't expect this to be anything like Memorial Bay 2024. There's never been much of a current. If there's any bit of a current, I would say it is pushing towards the beach a little bit, or a swell. So swimming out and getting started on the outward direction may be a little bit more difficult than in the course coming back. We may have a little bit of a push towards our back coming back. Next up is T1, and T1 is not short at Santa Cruz. Here we have a image of the swim course, and what I've added is this orange line here to show the route from the swim exit to transition. And what it is you exit at the water's edge, of course, you run over the timing mat, and then if you've left shoes or sandals or anything, that's typically in this area. I don't do that, so I can't tell you for sure. Hopefully your stuff's still there. And there's also little swimming pools for your feet. But anyway, you're running over sand and then you're running over pavement the rest of the way, and it's about zero point 0.4 miles. So it's not short. Just know that it's pavement. It's fairly smooth pavement, but there could be some rougher spots. And I'm just going to zoom in here, and north is up. Okay, so it's parking lot. You cross the street. Of course, you're seeing a lot of cars in this aerial image, but Sunday morning early, you're not going to have any cars. We're going to have traffic control for anything like that. But we cross the street, cross the railroad tracks, then would turn left and then run on this little trail here along railroad tracks, and then we approach the Athlete Village and transition. Athlete Village is this light blue color, which is paved parking lot area, and then the transition is the magenta, which is the soccer field here. So let me just add those back in. At that point, you'll take care of your swim to bike transition needs, get your bike stuff ready to go. And then at the top of transition, the north boundary here is there's a fence, and that's where everyone will be ushered out on their bikes to start the bike. The bike starts around the corner, actually. The mountain line is going to be on this center street. So just make sure to not get on your bike until uh, you're told to and that you've passed the mount line. And similarly, the bike course is an out and back. So once you finish the bike, the dismount line is also right about here, and you'd be expected to walk your bike, walk your bike back into transition. All right, let's talk about the bike course. The 70.3 distance triathlon has a 56-mile bike course. The bike course here on the map is drawn out in the blue line, where we start down here in Santa Cruz and we make our way a few miles through the city of Santa Cruz to Highway 1, and then we take Highway 1 up the coast, turn around, and come right back. So it's a true out and back bike course. With a very minor exception, the only portion of the bike course that's not out and back is right here, getting on Highway 1. Going through town, you notice that you leave transition. We're actually going to go up a small incline here and then get onto this W Cliff Drive or West Cliff Drive and then ride along the ocean for the next couple miles. Now in 2023, this is the 2023 course. At the time I'm making this video, I don't have the 2024 bike course exactly. And I bring that up because in 2022 and previous years that I've done the race, the bike course actually continued along West Cliff Drive pretty much all the way to the end here. And I drew that in the purple line, as you can see. So this might be the bike course if there's no construction or anything in 2024. Or, however, the 2024 bike course could also be the same as what it was in 2023, which is shown here on the blue line. Check the athlete guide when it comes out, and of course, the athlete briefing the day or the 2 days before the race. I have the aid stations marked by this little icon of the water symbol and the Martin gel icon. Now, what's actually going to be served at the aid stations is also going to be listed in the athlete guide, as I know the nutrition sponsors can change from year to year, but I think it's safe to say there will be water, there will be food and nutrition and electrolyte drink of some sort. Approximate location on these aid stations, miles 14.5, which is going to be this one going out. And then you're actually going to go to the turnaround and then turn around before hitting the second aid station, which is about mile 30.5, plus or minus. And then the last aid station is at about mile 44. Highway 1, I've heard, is open to traffic, and I've also heard that it's not open to traffic. There's not going to be much traffic on Highway 1, even if it's open to traffic. If there's a vehicle passing by, it's probably going to be an Ironman official or motorcycle there for safety or race support or something like that. All right, I want to use the Google Earth Street View and measurement tool to take a look at the road quality and the shoulder width. Here I've zoomed in at one location, just a few miles onto Highway 1. Looks like we have like an 8 or 9 foot wide shoulder. And taking a look at Street View, it looks very nice. There are rumble strips, but the road quality is very nice. I'd give this like an 8 or 9 out of 10. And I've rode this myself, so I can confirm that it is good quality right here. All right, another 10 miles up the road or so. Take another look here. And the shoulder's not quite as wide. It's about 5 or 6 feet wide. And taking a look at the road quality, it's it's very good still. No more rumble strips, but of course not quite as wide of a bike lane as that first spot. Okay, let's do one more location towards the end, closer to the turnaround point. And we zoom in, and it looks like a very wide bike lane or shoulder, if you will, about 7 or 8 feet going out, about 10 feet coming back. And then let's take a look at the road quality. Very nice. Yeah, hard to beat that road quality there. The topography of the bike course is shown in the Strava segment here. I've sketched it out, and the link is in the description. And what we see is rolling hills the entire way. This is just quintessential rolling hills. I do notice that there is one climb. I mean, there's climbs along the whole course, but I guess the most noticeable climb right here occurs at about mile 15, and we go from about 20 feet of elevation up to about 200 feet of elevation. So that's a climb of 180 feet approximately. And the grade seems to fluctuate between 5 and 10%. So this might be a small chain ring climb for me, but that probably will be it. About 4 or 5 miles later, we descend down the backside, continue on to the turnaround point, and then that same hill would be start at about mile 36, 37, coming back, and then we would be descending at about mile 40, 41. After that, it's just the same that we saw on the way out. There may or may not be a headwind or tailwind on this course. Of the 5 years I've done this race, there was only 1 year that had a noticeable wind, and it was a headwind going out, a tailwind coming back. I remember that my average speed heading up north was probably like 15 miles an hour, but then after I turned around, my average speed was about 25 miles an hour. So it was very noticeable, but in my experience, hasn't been super windy. All right, the run course is a 13.1 mile run course. It is a out and back, or rather, it's a lollipop loop. So on the Google imagery here, you can see the red line is the run course. When I say lollipop, I mean it's 5.4 miles out on pavement, followed by a 2.3 mile loop on dirt, and then back on the same 5.4 mile stretch on pavement. As you can see, there's a lot of running along the coast. It's on the same West Cliff Drive that shares some of its route with the bike course. I've also identified the aid stations. So there's aid stations at miles 0, 1.8, 3.4, 4.5, 5.7, 6.9, 7.4, 8.6, 9.7, and 11.3. Now, those mile markers are approximate. Just know it's about a mile and a half between aid stations. You're never running very far until you get to the next aid station. I also heard that the first aid station at mile 0 and then this middle aid station at 6.9 only serve water, but the other aid stations should be fully stocked. It's a flat course at the very beginning. We leave transition and go head out the same trail that we ran in on at T1, but we turn right and then right up this hill and then get on West Cliff Drive. And then the next hill, I believe, by the aid station here at mile 3.4, I think there was a small hill. And then just before the loop starts, there's a downhill segment out, which of course is an uphill segment when we start going back. There is very little shade on the run course, but it's also not going to be very hot. It's probably going to be in the 60s, and later in the day, it could get up into the 70s, but that's not that hot. Plus, this is along the coast, so we could have a breeze. The bike course is going to be out on Highway 1, and the run course is not on Highway 1, but it's on a trail that's just adjacent to Highway 1. So you'll be able to see the bikes and runners, but you're not going to be actually sharing any part of the course until you get down to Natural Bridges as well as West Cliff Drive. But there are cones on the course to segregate bikes from runners. The finish line is at 13.1 miles, and what you'll do is you'll be heading down West Cliff Drive, turn right on Beach Street, and this is a downhill segment. So careful about that. And then turn right again, and then finally turn right onto the beach. And it is a sand finish. It's not much sand running, but it's a little bit of sand running for maybe the last 10 or 20 seconds of the race. So just remember to lift your legs. You're going to be tired, and cross that finish line with on your feet. That concludes my Santa Cruz 70.3 triathlon course preview, and I will be there this year on September 8th on Sunday, and possibly future years as well. I'll be wearing my Sacramento Triathlon Club kit. My name's Tim Nelson. Our team has been there a number of years and always dominated. And if you're a male 40 to 44, you're competing against me. So good luck with that. But no, for real, hope to meet some of you out there and see some old friends and familiar faces. Take care.